Hello, everyone. We're all waking up to some terrible news coming out of India today. A 787-8 of Air India has gone down in the Indian city of Ahmedabad with 241 people on board, leaving only one survivor. So, a quick rundown on what this video is and is not going to be. If you're looking to find out exactly what happened, unfortunately, this is not the place. I don't think anyone knows what exactly happened. In this video, we're going to look over some of the footage and the photos that we have of the incident, and we're going to see what we can glean from that. That's all this video is going to be, and my heart, thoughts, and prayers go out to everyone affected by this horrible, horrible tragedy. The first bit of information that we're going to look at is the CCTV footage that's been released of the incident. From what I can tell, this is Ahmedabad Airport right here, and the CCTV is placed right on this fence right here, somewhere here. You have the shack right here. The shack, I think, is this one, and so it's facing out. And so he is taking off right around, rotating at least right around that intersection right there. Let's take a look at the video now. So there we have the jet. Looks like he's accelerating. Good rotation, and a lot of people have noticed this dust coming off. I think it's just because it's dry in India. It's about 37 degrees and very dry. So I just think that's just dust being kicked up. Had good rate, and now it peters off and he starts to glide back down. Still under control, but no longer climbing. And from there, he unfortunately goes down into a crowded area. Something that a lot of people have brought up is the fact that the flaps may not have been deployed during this takeoff. I find that hard to believe for two very important reasons. One is that the 787, I don't think, even lets you get near a runway without setting the flaps to the appropriate detent. I don't think you can easily disable the takeoff configuration warning on a 787 like you could do on older airplanes like the DC-9. It's not like you can just pull a circuit breaker and that just stops all of your warnings. And I don't think any pilot in his right sense of mind would try to take off in a 787, especially in hot weather like this with retracted flaps. So I found this video on YouTube from Silverwings 101, and it was uploaded about a year ago, and it is a Victor Tango Alpha November India on its way to London from Ahmedabad. So loaded up pretty similarly, not exactly because it's a different time of the year, September 2023, so I'm guessing that's around fall in India. But other than that, same route, same distance, probably at the same load factor. Here we see that the flaps are set correctly, but due to the blended wing of the 787, it is actually kind of hard to discern what's happening here. We can't really tell if the flaps are extended or not from a more blurrier image. This one, it's quite obvious, but in a more blurrier image like this one, it is very much hard to tell if the flaps are extended. I have another picture of the same airplane taking off from Ahmedabad for the same destination, and you see the same thing again. But that blended wing really makes it hard to know if the flaps are deployed or not. To illustrate my point, I've basically put the drone camera in Microsoft Flight Simulator at about the same place to simulate what this takeoff looked like in the simulator. So you have the plane. I'll just pan over there. We have the plane all the way over there. That's the 787-10, by the way. And then we're going to set the camera back, and we're going to see what it looks like in the simulator, just to get a sense of perspective. I've seen a lot of people, or some people on the internet, say that the plane ran out of runway, which is just not the case. If you look at it right here, the runway extends all the way out, but from this angle it doesn't look like that. But let's roll the simulation and see what that looks like. Here we have the jet coming into view. starts to rotate, and yep, starts to gain altitude, looking pretty similar, and then starts to lose altitude. Now if you flick it back here, it's basically impossible to tell unless you are zooming in. Even if you're zoomed in, it's still hard to tell. And I'm running this at like 1440p. Even at max zoom, it's kind of hard to tell if the flaps are out. And in this case, they are, because I put them out. And that's what you see. That's all you see. So even if you had a higher resolution video, I do not think that we'd be able to tell if the flaps were out or not. The biggest bit of information that comes, I think, comes from a newspaper source. I think I saw this on the Washington Times. I saw this on Twitter as well, so I decided to pull it up. It shows the wing of the 787. Now, what part of the wing are we looking at? I was able to find Simply Aviation. I love their channel. I love their trip reports. And this is their Vienna to Delhi 787 trip report. And if you look right here, you can see the tail number printed on here. The Indians, at least for their 787s, they love doing that. And it's great for identification. You see the tail number right here on their 787. You see the same thing here. This is just Indira Gandhi Airport in Delhi, and we see the same thing right here. There's another 787. So you are looking at the right wing of the aircraft. And while looking at the right wing of the aircraft, you can clearly see that there is some separation here. You can see that that is deflected downwards at least a little bit. If I see this correctly, I believe that these are the slats, and that they are extended. Now, is it possible that they took off with the flaps retracted and then extended it once they realized their mistake? Definitely possible, but I don't think that's likely. Again, like I said, I do not think that that is very likely. The biggest clue as to what happened, I think, comes from this video right here. I'm going to mute my mic so that I can play this video, and let's take a watch and a listen. I'm going to play that one more time just so that you can catch what I'm hearing. That really doesn't sound like a normal 787. In fact, it even sounds like a little bit of a prop plane. You hear that prop whine as he goes past, and you start him to see pull up. You start him to see him pull up, and you hear the whine change a little bit. And I want you to listen and watch this other video that I found on the internet. Now, you hear pretty much the same sound being made by this Japan Airlines 787. And why is that making that noise? If you fast forward here just a little bit, you should be able to see this little propeller being deployed from the bottom of the aircraft. That is known as a ram air turbine. A ram air turbine, let's go to the Wikipedia page, is a small wind turbine that is connected to a hydraulic pump or electrical generator installed in an aircraft used as a power source. The rat usually just comes out only when all other forms of power has been lost. So it generates hydraulic power and it generates electrical power. Usually when the engines go silent, that's when the rat comes out. It gives you just enough power to power some of the most critical things on the plane, and it gives you just enough hydraulic power to have basic control of the airplane. So in this case, we know that the rat is out, and that's what the plane sounds like. And here, if you move it around, you can kind of see something in the same place. But the problem is this video is so low resolution that we can't really tell if there's anything there. But it sounds exactly like the rat has been deployed. And from this angle, you can kind of see that the slats are deployed. I don't know if I'm just reading too much into things here, but you can kind of see that the slats are deployed. But you see that the rat, or hear that the rat is enabled. So Air India Flight 171 somehow had some sort of power failure. Electrical, hydraulic, just thrust failure. We don't know yet. We're waiting for that information to come out. But it certainly looks like the 787 had some sort of an issue with propulsion, maybe. Again, that's just what the information's saying. What's interesting is that Air India is in the process of of renovating these 787s, or modifying them, renovating them, maintaining them. I found this article on Simple Flying about Air India's 787 refurbishment program. So Air India has these flights from tier 2 cities of India. So that is Ahmedabad, Kochi, Goa, Kolkata. So basically not Delhi or Mumbai, to London. And they use these older 787s on those routes. And they are pulling these 787s out of service. So for example, the Kochi-London route was suspended a while back because they just didn't have enough airplanes to go around. And this plane theoretically would have been taken out of service pretty soon for a pretty intensive maintenance and refurbishment check. But I guess it never really got to that. But that's all the information we have right now on this case. As more information comes out, I'll be making more videos on this. Always take everything you hear on the internet with a giant grain of salt. Even this video. These are just my 2 cents. Hopefully we get to know what happened pretty soon.